I'll be discussing the prospects for widespread adoption of organic-based fertilizers in the Philippines, a rapid appraisal, written by Dr. Briones and researchers, co-researchers. Next slide, please. Next, okay, so this is the outline of my presentation. I strongly support the recommendation by the paper of Dr. Briones. I'll be discussing some barriers to adoption mentioned in the paper and propose some solutions. Then I also will discuss some untapped plant resources because it was mentioned that there is a lack of materials for organic and the value chain. And then I will be presenting evidence for integrated development using the cooperatives, and then I have the conclusion. Next slide, please. I strongly support OBF because we have a very dismal situation. We are the world's largest rice importer in 2024, and DA spokesperson said that 1 million metric tons of palay because of El Nino, La Nina, and series of typhoons. The loss is because of this El Nino, La Nina phenomenon. And I would say that the NOAP is anchored on nourishing soil environment with sufficient organic matter, which is the adaptation to climate change, which is the answer to the problem presented by DA. Organic matter from compost increases soil water holding capacity and increases infiltration and movement, which are very important during drought. And also, organic matter will enhance soil health and enhances sustainability. Next slide, please. I will be presenting data that we have gathered in Mugpog, Marinduque, wherein we are there because we would like to address the problem of heavy metal contamination. Our strategy is to incorporate rice straw as a compost, plus the use of Trichoderma microbial inoculant in combination with organic fertilizers. As you will see, in combination with chemical fertilizers. As you will see here, there is increasing water stress level such that in dry season 2019, there is a severe drought. And those fields, by the way, these are barangay level study, you have 2.2 tons per hectare, and those without the rice straw and compost and TMI, 0. And even those that are heavily contaminated, you will see that there is 1.9 tons per hectare and 0. So our data show that rice fields remain productive despite severe drought, which is an adaptation to climate change. And we see here that fields show resilience when the intensity of drought decrease. So from 2.2, it becomes 3.7. From 1.9, it becomes 4.9. Next slide, please. Now, there is a mention in the paper that the question then, can organic agriculture feed the Philippines? And there are no studies that have been done in the Philippines. My PhD student has this data. The data that I will be presenting here would show that with good soil fertility, organic agriculture using TMI with rice straw compost and TMI can increase yield by 32 to 40% with 50% reduction in chemical fertilizer, equivalent to 8.1 tons per hectare from an inbred rice variety. 8.2 tons or 8.1 tons is already equivalent to the yield of hybrid. Now, I'd like to emphasize that here the soil is very fertile. Organic matter is already almost 5%, and the pH is almost 7, and very good CEC. Now, take note of here, this is a very good support to organic agriculture. With very high soil fertility, 0 input, notice that the yield is already 4.5 tons, wet season, 5 tons in Kapayang, and this is 3.2 and 4.9. By the way, all these barangay are still contaminated by heavy metal. Now look at this 3-4 with rice straw compost and 1/2 recommended chemical fertilizer and trichoderma microbial inoculant. Wet season is 6.5, dry season is 8.1, 4.9, wet season 8.2. So my recommendation is this: explore the line of research to determine the potential of organic agriculture with integrated nutrient management and TMI in feeding the Philippines. Next slide, please. Now, one of the barriers that was mentioned in the paper is labor-intensive requirements as a hindrance to widespread application for organic fertilizer. We have come up with a new technique of rice straw in situ composting that will be using 1 kilogram of Trichoderma herrcianum plus 20 kilograms triple 14. But this triple 14 can be substituted with manures, and it will decompose in 14 to 21 days. And this rice straw compost can now be incorporated during dry season, during land preparation. And we have already proven that the PhD research of a PhD soil science student proved that there is rapid evolution of carbon dioxide, indicating rapid decay of rice straw in 17-14 days. So therefore, organic production system with INF, you have a minimal labor input, farmer-friendly composting in situ. So there is no need for high labor input, compatible with the use of activator and mechanized harvesting system of mechanized harvesting and the use of TMI. Next slide, please. Therefore, labor-intensive requirements as a hindrance to widespread application of in rice cropping can be solved by in situ rapid composting with the use of Trichoderma activator. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. Another barrier that was, two barriers that were mentioned in the paper: initial drop in yield is a major disincentive to adopting organic farming, and prohibition of the use of chemical pesticide. Again, this is the result of the PhD soil science, this 2025. And this will be, the data will be from very recent, 2024 to 2025, wet and dry season on two areas. Here is rain-fed lowland. Notice that it is true that there is initial drop. Notice here 2.4, 2.5. With the use of rice straw plus TMI, yeah, 3.2. But rice straw plus TMI plus 50% is 4.3 tons per hectare, not significantly different from that of full recommended rate of chemical fertilizer. The same thing is true here, 4.5 with full recommendation, but 50% reduction, and TMI and rice straw compost is 4.10, which is not significantly different from that of 4.5. Now, notice that treatments 3 to 6 will use the in situ rapid composting, and notice that even here with 100% recommended rate, the yield is even lower than that of the 50%. Next slide, please. This is under rain-fed lowland condition. Very recent data, 24-25 wet and dry season. Notice that full recommended rate is 3.4, but 50% recommended rate with the use of compost and TMI, it's 3.17. Again, not significantly different from that of full recommended. Here, wet season 2.5, 2.67, again, not significantly different. And take note that from T3 to T6 would use the in situ rapid composting with Trichoderma activator. Next slide, please. So therefore, the barriers, initial drop in yield, and prohibition of chemical pesticide, the possible solution is organic-based fertilizer, rapid composting with Trichoderma activator, and INF with biofertilizer TMI, because TMI is an effective biocontrol agent, and therefore the barriers can be overcome. But what is important is good information, dissemination with science-based data that can overcome these barriers. Next slide, please. Okay. Again, pointed out, one barrier is lack of plant raw materials that has hindered the formation of organic fertilizer value chain. I would say that we have untapped plant raw materials. Number one would be market waste. BSWM provides machine shredder and machine composter. Each LGU can avail of these machines, and this has been done in Mugpog, Marinduque. The Menro distributes the compost from market waste to the farmers. And one untapped raw material is the water hyacinth or water lily. Using these materials will solve environmental problems because massive pollution, population of water hyacinth clog rivers and waterways. By the way, water hyacinth is a very good scavenger of nitrogen and other fertilizers. We have analyzed this, and the water hyacinth has 4% nitrogen content. Next slide, please. So these are scenarios from Laguna de Bay, wherein you have so much raw materials. So lakeshore communities can form cooperatives with capital from LGU and machine shredder from BSWM, and they can tie up with piggery and poultry enterprises to produce organic fertilizer. Next slide, please. We have already utilized the water hyacinth compost. Using the activator, it was used as the sole culture medium for floating gardens in Masantol, Pampanga in 2019. You see, Masantol, Pampanga and Macabebe, Pampanga are always flooded. There are times that 4 months they are isolated and there is a problem of food security. So these vegetable gardens was available for 16 months and it served the community. Next slide, please. So therefore, possible solution, another policy recommendation is needed such that composing of water hyacinth can be integrated into the value chain in the crop production system in areas where they are causing massive environmental problem. LLDA, LGU, BSWF, Bureau of Fisheries, and LGA must formulate strategies to eliminate the problem and integrate the organic fertilizer production from water hyacinth to the value chain of crop production in the region where they are abundant. Next slide, please. Okay, I'll provide evidence to the recommendation of the paper. Integrate value chain development of organic fertilizer and biofertilizers with the development of livestock, poultry, and agro-processing industry. There were 2 paper presentations in the NAST Luzon Regional Scientific Meeting in Cavite just last May. Number 1 is Batangas Producers Cooperative, or the BEPCO, located in San Jose, Batangas. San Jose, Batangas is the egg basket of the Philippines, and this BEPCO has been registered in CDA since 2010. They're composed of farmers, feed millers, members of the related business in the egg industry. With the assistance from DA, BEPCO established the egg processing plant, and these are the products of BEPCO. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so this is the sustainable closed loop, wherein all the materials and all the raw materials are presented, are channeled into, all the waste are utilized. Next slide, please. So you have here the poultry houses, and they are producing this kind of fertilizers from chicken manure. They also generate biogas from chicken manure. Next slide, please. The last slide, next slide would be CDIS, Integrated Agribusiness Corporation, presented also in the NAS RSM. So they have an integrated system. They are engaged in rice milling. They are getting rice, the palay from Mindoro. They are producing plants for feed mill. They have the poultry as well as the livestock, and they are producing organic fertilizers. Next slide, please. Next. Okay, so this is the kind of fertilizer that they are producing. These are certified by OCCP and registered with BAPS. And they are using materials, coco peat, mud press, and carbonized rice hull. And this is their coco plus fertilizer co-op Licas. Next slide, please, which is the last slide. Last slide, please. So, conclusion, beyond R&D, this is from the paper, DA must heavily invest in extension to promote widespread adoption of adaptive BFS. I would suggest that farmers have to be convinced to adopt in situ rice composting with trichoderma activator in preparation for El Nino event that occurs at the interval up to 3 years. By the way, DA, some laboratories are producing trichoderma activator and so they can supply. If the paper's recommendations are properly implemented soon, we can reduce rice importation and rice self-sufficiency is on the horizon. However, provided rice is not used as a political commodity. Thank you very much.